more page in your books of factoring practice, and then I have a quiz that I would have given you if there was one more day between now and tomorrow. So what I thought I would do is I would just give you the quiz. You could write it, use your notes, talk to each other. I don't care. And then it's just a little more practice before your test tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, because there's nothing new. This is the hardest kind of factoring. It just needs practice now. It just needs practice. And then there's a couple of snaky ones that are at the very end that I'll show you what to do. I do wish to talk about page 136. I will be talking about that after we've gone through 137 and 138, but before you start on your own work. Okay? Everybody good? Excellent. Now, if you were not here yesterday, then what we are doing right now is not going to make even the tiniest bit of sense to you. However, I will be going over it numerous times, and you will see what you need to be able to do. Okay? Okay, wait. Yeah, left to right. Okay. Tashmir! You're back! Oh! I missed you too, buddy. All right. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, you know if you did it right because when you multiply it out, it works. Anybody wish to ask about 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8? I have an answer.
Number 6, you wrote n plus 6. I just wrote 6 times.
No, it has to be n plus 6 because 6n is 6 times n. N plus 6 is not the same as 6 times n. Nathan.
Does it matter if you put the two, this is like number 8 and number 7. Does it matter what you put the 2 and 3 with? Like what group is it 1, 2, and 7?
Yes.
How do you know what group?
Because you have to be able to, when it multiplies out, it has to work. So this obviously doesn't matter because 2 and 2 are the same. But in this one, you can't do m plus 1 and 2m minus 7, or plus 7. Then it won't work. Right? Because if I did m plus 1 and 2m plus 7, then I get 2m squared plus 7m plus 2m, which is 9m, not 15. Yeah. Well, okay, when you figure out that it's going to be 7 and 1, that's when, or when you figure out what you're going to put there, that's when you know where they go. So to do this question, of course, you did 2 times 7, and you had to multiply to 14 and add to 15, right? Okay, so it had to be 14 and 1, right? So it had to be m plus 14 and m plus 1. But it wasn't really 14 and 1. It was divided by 2 and divided by 2. Then you simplify. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And that 2 comes to the front. So it had to be m and 7. Now, if you switched that order and you made it m plus 1 and m plus 14, you would still be dividing by 2. And that 2 would come to the front, and that would be the 7. You can switch the whole binomial with the other binomial, but you can't. You got to be careful which number goes where.
So it's like before the number 3, trying to put it outside the fraction, or you can keep it in.
I'm confused with your last sentence.
Because like on number 3, if you divide the whole fraction.
Well, on number 3, I had to divide by 3 because I had to take out a GCF. Because you're always supposed to take out a GCF if you can.
But
In number 8, there was no GCF, so I went straight to the last kind of factoring that I learned, which was first number times the last number, multiply to that, add to the middle number. Everyone is okay with 137? Unts? Tice? Thrice? spectacular. There's the first 6. There is nothing special there because none of them have common denominators or common factors. But this is a little bit special because that's 9t to the 4th. Now, hopefully you've all noticed all the way along it's always been squared, and then I get t times t. Well, when it's t to the 4th, obviously it's t squared times t squared. Other than that, it's the exact same thing, because t squared times t squared gets me t to the 4th. What if this number was 9t to the 6th? What would be the first number in both brackets?
3 to the 3
It could be 3, but it's definitely going to be t3 and t3, yes? What if it was t to the 8th? What would they be? 4 and 4. What if it was t to the 12th? 6 and 6, and so on and so on and so on. What if it was t cubed? Can you split that evenly? If it's a cube there, you're most likely going to be able to factor out a t, right? So that becomes t squared, t, and nothing. And you'd have a t out front. Now, have a look at 9 through 14. Make sure you're good. There's no real tricks there. That's all pretty normal. Satra, 10. Okay. Can't get out of GCF, so I got to do 2 times negative 4, because it's a negative. So I got to multiply to negative 8 and add to negative 7. It's 1 and 8, right? Well, how do 1 and 8 add to make negative 7? No. It has to be 1 minus 8, right? That gets me negative 7. So I have y plus 1, because it's positive, and y minus 8. But it's not really 1. It's 1 over 2. And it's not really 8. It's 8 over 2. And then you simplify where you can. That doesn't simplify, so the 2 goes to the front. 2y plus 1. That simplifies to negative 4. Y minus 4. And then I just check. 2y times y is y squared. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well then, I apologize. Everything else is good? Yo. 13. Certainly. No GCF. 4 times 4. I got to multiply to 4, but add to negative 4. So it's not 1 and 4. That won't make 4. But 2 and 2 will make 4 if they're both negative. So it's a minus 2, but it's not really minus 2 because it's over 4. And a minus 2, but it's not really minus 2 because it's over 4. Simplify to 1/2. Simplify to 1/2. Denominators to the front. Now, in this case, you can quite plainly see 2a minus 1. You could write it that way, because it's 2a minus 1 times 2a minus 1. So I could square it. Oops, didn't want to do that yet. That's where I want to stop. Everyone is good to 14, yeah? All right, now 14, 15 is where the mess, the trickery starts. So we're going to go just 2 by 2. There's the first 2. Now, remember this trick I taught you, yes? What do those brackets mean? That means all of that is one thing, correct? So I can rewrite this as a squared minus 81, because a is x minus 7, right? Now, because I have a squared minus a squared, I can use this trick, a minus 9, right? Everybody's good to there. And then a is x minus 7, right? So this, a, becomes x minus 7 plus 9. Minus 7 plus 9 is positive 2, right? And then this one, minus 7 minus 9 is negative 16. Now, some students never, ever, no matter how easy this looks to me, and no matter how easy this looks to some of you, they just don't understand that you're allowed to do this. Okay? Are any of you, and this is not a condemnation, so do not feel bad about saying that. Is this move of subbing in here, do any of you just not understand what is happening there? Well, you I expect. There are other people that do not. Okay, so I'm going to slide over here and I'm going to show it as slowly as I can. Can you factor that? Is that a perfect square? Is that a difference? Is that a perfect square? So we take the square root of the first one. What's the square root of x squared? X. Plus, what is the square root of 9? 3. And then I write it again. Are we cool? Everyone agrees, right? You can see that. Okay. Now, what if I change this letter to Q? Now what would it be? No, because then it would be x and x. It would be Q plus 3 and Q minus 3. Agreed? What if I made it lightning bolt squared minus 9?
Same thing, but lightning.
It would be lightning bolt plus 3 and lightning bolt minus 3. Okay? Is everybody good with that? All right. Now, if you're good with that, Q equals 4. What can I write there?
4.
Okay, so this would be 4 plus 3 times what? 4 minus 3, which would be 7 times what? 1, right? Which would be 7. Everybody cool? Okay. All right. Well, now, Q equals lightning bolt. What can I write there? Lightning bolt, because that's what Q is. Everybody cool? Okay. Now, Q equals x plus 1. What can I write there? X plus 1 plus 3. What is 1 plus 3? X plus 4. What do I write there? X plus 1 minus 3. What is 1 minus 3? X minus 2. Everybody cool? Everybody's cool? Everybody who just had their hand up for not understanding that gets this, right? Okay, so now x plus 1 squared minus 9. X plus 1 equals q. So what can I write there? Q squared minus 9. And you all told me you understood this. So now you do that with one letter, which is super easy, and then you bring that back in at the end. Does that help? Now, as I was saying, even with this, even if you follow all this, there are still some kids that are just like, I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? That makes no sense. You might as well be speaking Greek. That's okay. Because, observe, and again, you needn't write this down, x plus 1 squared minus 9. Mr. Myers, I know you say I can make this any other letter. I could make it Q, and then what would this be? That would be Q squared minus 9. And you all have already told me that you know that's Q plus 3 and Q minus 3. Okay, well, there's a Q. Was there a Q ever in the first equation? There was an x plus 1. Q equals x plus 1. Is that a Q? So what can I write there? X plus 1. X plus 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 are like terms. You just add them. Everybody cool? All right. Now let's pretend you're not cool. You still don't get that. That's okay. What do you want to do with that? If you don't understand substitution, what do you want to do with that?
Expand.
You want to expand it, right? which would be x squared plus 2x plus 1. Agreed? Everyone can do that, right? And then minus 9, yes? Okay. What is 1 minus 9? X squared plus 2x minus 8, yes? When it looks like that, I need numbers that multiply to negative 8 and add to 2. What are they? 4 and negative 2, because 4 minus 2 is 2, right? So I get x plus 4 and x minus 2. Everyone agree? Okay. Now use the way I taught you. What is this? Instead of x plus 1, what can I write there? Any other letter. Name a letter. L? Great. We're going to use L there. So now that's L plus 3 and L minus 3, yes? L is what? X plus 1 plus 3. What is x plus 1 plus 3? X plus 4. L is x plus 1 minus 3. What's 1 minus 3? Negative 2. Which way was quicker? The blue or this? The blue. Do I care which way you use? You have to understand one of them. You choose which one you want to understand. If you want to go through all the hassle of expanding this, collecting like terms, and then factoring anyway, go ahead and do that. I do not mind. But there's a reason I show you stuff like this. Okay? It's up to you to decide which one you're comfortable with. Now let's come back over here. Now you'll notice here I have used the substitution method, haven't I? Right? Excellent. That I made the letter, choose a letter. H. And that is different than H, so can I give it an H? I have to give it a different letter. What letter should it be? P. HP, like the sauce. Okay? So now, I used to have 2x plus 3 squared minus 4x minus 7 squared. That's what I started with, right? Now, while I am erasing, you should be looking at that and seeing what about it looks familiar. Isn't this some single thing squared? Just like x squared, right? Is that a minus? So what am I writing here? Minus. Is that another thing squared? If something is squared, does it have a square root? Of course it does. So this would be y squared. Agreed? Now, if I wrote this as x squared minus 9, isn't that the same as x squared minus 3 squared? And then I take the square root of that, x, plus the square root of that, 3, and then I write it again, correct? So how would I factor this one? What would that be? X minus y. You want to start with the minus? That's cool. And then what would this be? X plus y. Everybody agree? Okay. Now, Riley said this was h. Tajir said this was p. So isn't this h squared minus p squared? Yes or no? It is, isn't it? Okay. So what's the square root of h? H squared, sorry. H plus, what's the square root here? P. And then what do I do? H minus p. What's h? 2x plus 3. That is h, correct? Plus, what's p? 4x minus 7. 2 x's plus 4 x's. 6 x's. 3 plus 7, or plus negative 7. Negative 4. Agreed? Okay. What do you notice about 6 and 4? They share something. What do they share? Common factor. What factor, Prab? 2. So a 2 can come out and I get 3x minus 2. Agreed? Does everybody follow that side? Okay. Let's look at the other side. What's h? 2x plus 3. Minus, what's p? 4x minus 7. What is 2x minus 4x? Negative 2x. What is 3 minus 7? Positive 10, yes? What do you notice about 2 and 10? What's the common factor? 2. So out will come, I would bring out a negative 2 because we don't want a negative in the front, right? So out will come a negative 2 and x plus 5 minus 5. Everybody cool? Now you know what math is supposed to be happening right there between h plus p and h minus p. Multiply. So what math should be happening between this and this? Multiply. What's 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. 3x minus 2 and x minus 5. See how if you go step by step, it's no problem. If you understand this as the basic one, which you all say you do, then you understand this because it's 3 squared. Then you should understand right? And then it's not a big stretch to see how h squared minus p squared is the same as x minus y. Then you can just substitute back in. You all already know how to substitute because if I gave you this question, area equals length times width, and I told you that the rectangle was 6 by 12, what would you do with that? The 12 would go for L, the 6 would go for W. You know how to substitute, don't you? So apply that to a new situation. Because it's not a new situation, is it? The 4x minus 7 is just something you don't want to deal with. So make it easier by giving it a single letter. It sounds like I'm forcing you to do this, but I'm not. Because, of course, could we not have expanded all this, then expanded all this, then collected all our like terms, and then factored that? Yes, we could have. Do you want to see how much paper that would take? When you can get it done in 3 steps if you do substitution? I don't mind showing you all 27 steps. I don't care. But if I were in your shoes, my teacher never taught me this move. When I was your age, he said, expand this out. 4x squared plus 12x plus 9 minus 16x squared minus 56x plus 49. Collect my like terms. What a pain. But it's up to you. Right? To expand this out and factor it, you already know how to do that. This little trick is there for you. And as you can see, we got that answer. Everybody cool? Okay, now, notice in 18, what is happening here? These bother me, don't they? Right? Be honest, they bug you too, right? So I made them an A. If I make this A, then what does this become? It becomes A squared plus 8A plus 12, yes? Which we just factored right here was plus 6 and plus 2, yes? So what does the A become? A is 2x plus 7 plus 6. 7 plus 6, 13. A, 2x plus 7 plus 2. 7 plus 2, 9. And I'm done in one step. No expansion, no FOIL, no collecting like terms, all done in one step. Do you want to do it in one step? Follow that. Do you want to expand it? Expand it. It is totally up to you. Everybody cool? Now I am betting a great many of you didn't bother to do 19. I am a betting man. And I am betting if I walked around and checked everybody's books, I would find 19 blank on at least 85% of the books in here. Which means you can all try it right now. Because you've just seen again how to do this. What would I recommend you do with that and that? Make it a single letter. Go. Try it. Because 19 is a giant mess by the end of it. I'm going to. I just wanted to erase because I'd already had the key to 19 done. There is what you are doing. Notice A, 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 A. And I only choose A because it's the first letter, right? You know you could put any letter there you want, right? My name's Matt. I'm going to use M. My name's Rylan. I'm going to use R. Okay, you can do that. It doesn't have to be A. I just write A because it's the first letter. You could, if I don't want to do a letter, do a lightning bolt. I don't want to do a lightning bolt. Draw an umbrella. I don't care. Draw a heart, right? Oh, I'm in love. A heart is 2x plus 7. Heart plus 6. I don't care. Right? Oh, my boyfriend dumped me.
Broken.
I'm sad. It's sad face plus 6. Or, like Rylan said, which would have been better, and I wish I'd thought of it before he said it out loud. Broken heart. I don't care. Put it as anything you want. It doesn't matter. Were those words? Okay. Okay. Pardon me, Jacqueline? Well, there's an 8 right there.
Where did I go? Yeah.
Well, 8A, it's right there. And then you factor this because it's the same. When you factor this, you need to multiply to 12 and add to 8. What are the numbers that do that? 6 and 2. 6 and 2. Then I change out the A for what it was originally. If you can do 17, you can do 18. Because they're the exact same question with one more step. Nathan.
I understand 18, 17, if I get that. But like, on 19, how do you simplify more? Because like, you can't find the
You can't find the numbers. What have you done so far?
A squared minus.
Okay, so you've changed this to A, right?
Yeah.
So you have now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're having trouble with this, follow along now. Do you understand? Damn it. Do you understand that what is written in green is exactly the same as here? Are you okay there? All right. Now, you should recognize that that is the second kind of factoring we do, which means I need numbers that multiply to what?
Negative 45.
-45 and add to what?
Negative 4.
-4. Now, this is where it breaks down for a lot of people. Oh, Mr. Myers, I can't think of the pair. Start at the beginning. 1 and 45. Does that make 4? No. Does 45 divide by 2? No, it's not. Oh, it's not even. 3 and 15. Do 3 and 15 make 4? No. 5 and 9. Yes. How? 5 minus 9 is negative 4. So now I have a minus 9 and a plus 5. Is everybody good to there? Now, is there an a anywhere in that question that was there as a question? No, I put the a there. So since I put the a there, now I have to take it out of there because it's not part of the question. A is what? 4x plus 3. That's a. Then I'm supposed to take away 9. What is 4x plus 3 minus 9? Minus 6. What is a? 4x plus 3 plus 5. What is 4x plus 3 plus 5? 8. Right? Now, what do you notice about 4 and 6? A 2 can come out, leaving 2x minus 3, yes? Okay. What do you notice about 4 and 8? A 2 can come out, leaving me with? Now, what is... Yeah, I know. What is... Do you notice anything now about that? Another 2 can come out. So I have 2x minus 3, 2, another 2, and x plus 2, yes? What do 2, 2, and 2 do together? Add or multiply? Multiply, because we're looking for factors, aren't we? And factors multiply. What is 2 times 2 times 2? 8. 2x minus 3, x plus 2. And that is just about the hardest question I can give you. But you will notice that the actual work goes back to one of the easier questions I can give you. Everybody cool? All right. Now, before you go on, let's go back and have a look at page 136. Because sometimes 136 confuses the issue, and sometimes it helps. I think with this group, it will help. That's a blank right now, yes? Which means I want a number there. Agreed? Everyone agrees? Okay. If this were a 6, then I would need numbers that multiplied to what? 6 and added to what? No. 1. Right? So what are the factors of 6? 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Which one of those will get me to 1? 2 and 3. If I do 3 minus 2, correct? So if this was negative 6, could I factor it? I could, couldn't I? Because it would be negative 2 and 3, yes? Right? Okay. What if it was negative 12? Then what would I need? I would need to multiply to negative 12 and add to 1. What is it? 1 and 12 makes 1? 3 and 4, right? Okay, so when it was 6, I needed 2 and 3. When it was 12, I needed 3 and 4. What would be the next logical number to write here? 4. And what would be the next logical number to write here? 5. 5 minus 4 gets me 1. So what number would have to be here if I was here? Negative 20. What if it was 5 and 6? What would be here? Negative 30. What if it was 6 and 7? Negative 42. So what number can go there? any number as long as the factors are how far apart? One apart, and one of them is negative. You've got it. Everybody understand? So give me a couple that could go here. A couple of numbers. Notice it's the exact same question with a different letter. So tell me a couple of numbers that could go there. Negative 2. Why would negative 2 work, Prab? Because 2 minus 1 gets me 1. Give me another number that would work there. All the same ones we had here, right? Right? Would 72 work? Why? It would work. Why? 9 and 8. Thank you, Jordan. Would 132 work? Yes, because it's 11 and 12. Everybody understand? Any number will work. Now, is this the exact same question? Yes. So all those numbers will work. Now notice, which had to be the negative when this was positive? The bigger or the smaller one? The smaller one had to be the negative, right? I used 4 and 5. I had to make the 4 a negative. What's different here? So would it be negative 4 and 5? Or would it be 4 and negative 5? 4 and negative 5. Does that change the number here? It's still negative 20, right? My pen is doing its dead thing. Is everybody good? Okay. So when it was 1, the factors had to be 1 apart, right? What's different in 5? Look at 5. What's different? 2. So if they're 1 apart, will it work? What must they be? So could I use 3 and 5? Yeah. Which one has to be negative? The 5. The bigger one has to be negative. When that's negative, the bigger one has to be negative. And what would be the number that would go there? Negative 15. Give me 2 more. 4 and 6. Which one gets the negative? 6. And what would be the number that went there? Negative 24. Easy peasy, yeah? Give me one more. You think of it yourself. Don't yell it out loud. Everybody got one? Who would like to volunteer it? Nathan. So what would be the number that would go here? Because that's the number I'm looking for. Negative 8. And I'd have 2 and 4. And which one would get the negative? The 4. Everybody got it? Okay. How is 6 different? I need the middle number, right? So I need numbers that will multiply to what? Will multiply to 6 and add to what? No. Anything. So what are the numbers that multiply to 6? 2 and 3. So what could be there? Plus, plus. What could be there?
No, 1 because it's 1 apart.
No, 5.
This one is now solidly positive 6. So this one would have to be 5, right? What else multiplies to 6?
Why
Because this is positive 6. So both of these numbers have to be positive to get a positive 6. 1 times 6 is 6, yes? So this would have to be, could be 7. Now, is there something I could do with 2 and 3 to multiply to get positive 6, but they're not positive? If they were both negative, would that work? Is negative 2 times negative 3 positive 6? So what would this be? Instead of being positive 5, what would it be? Negative 5. And instead of being positive 7, what would it be? Negative 7. Everybody get it? Try number 7 by yourself. What do I have to multiply to? What kind of 10? So that means my 2 numbers have to be what? Both negative or both positive. What are my options for 10? 1 and 10, which means what are my options here? 7 or -7 plus or minus 7 or 11 plus or minus 11. Everybody good? Okay. 8 is really tricky. If there's no number here, I know what to do, right? I got to multiply to 9. Yeah? But there is a number there now. So what do I got to multiply to now? 36. And what do I got to add to? Anything I want. But what do you notice about 4 and 9? They're perfect squares, aren't they? So if I factor this, these two numbers and these two numbers have to be the same, don't they? So I need factors of 36 that are going to be the same. 6 has to be 6 and 6, which means that has to be what? I got to add them, remember? 12. Is everybody cool? Because I had a perfect square and a perfect square. So I know that when I make my factors, this and this have to be the square root of that, don't they? Because when you do FOIL, that times that has to be that. Right? Everybody good? And the last thing. There's my rectangle. How big is it? Read the question. Tell me how big that rectangle is. X squared plus 7x plus 12, yes? Is that the area or the sides? Area. The sides are out here and here, yes? On the sides of a rectangle is where we find the factors, right? So if I factor this, I'm going to get the sides, aren't I? How do I factor that? What do I need to multiply to? 12. What do I need to add to? 7. What is it? X plus 3, x plus 4. That's how long the sides are. Everybody cool? And then the last thing. How am I going to find the area of the colored part? I'll do a bit better job of shading. I do length times width for what? The big rectangle or the little rectangle? So LW for the big one, and then what? Minus LW for the little one, right? What is LW for the big one? 5x minus 4 times what? 3x plus 5, right? I can FOIL that out, can't I? Probably in my sleep. What's 5x times 3x? 15x squared. 5x times 5? 25x. Negative 4 times 3x? Minus 12x. And negative 4 times 5? Negative 20. Collect my like terms. What's 25 take away 12? 15x squared plus 13x minus 20. Is everybody cool with that being the big one? Okay, what's the little one? 2x plus 6 times x plus 2. 2x times 2x, 2x squared. 2x times 2 plus 4x. 6 times x plus 6x. 6 times 2, 12. What's 4 plus 6? So I have 2x squared plus 10x plus 12, yes? What math is that? So what math goes right there? What does a negative in front of all of this do? Changes it. So I have 15 minus 2. What's that? 13x squared. 13 minus 10 plus 3x. Negative 20 minus 12. Negative 20 minus 12. Negative 20 negative 32. No. No. Once again, there is a number line. There is 0. What do you do when you go right? Right. Positive. Give me any positive number. 7. Everybody would agree 7 is there, yes? 7 plus 2. What direction is positive? Right. 7 plus 2. Agreed? 9. Give me a negative number. Negative 2. Negative 2. What direction is minus? Left. Negative 2 minus 4. Negative 2 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4. Negative 6. You are going in more in the negative direction. What you're thinking of is subtracting a negative, which can't be shown here. That's algebra tile stuff. There is 4, yes? That is 4. Now I want to take away 2. There's 2, right? Everyone agree? I take them away. What's the answer? 2, because 4 minus 2 is 2. All right. Now, for minus negative 2. 4 take away negative 2. Are there any negatives there to take away? No, there's none. Now, are there 2 negatives to take away? Yes, because what does this equal? 0, and this equals 0. So I still have 4, don't I? Now, can I take away those 2 negatives? What's the answer? 6. Those 2 negatives make a positive. But 7 minus negative 7 minus 2 is this spot, negative 7, and then I take away 2 more. Okay? And you also really need algebra tiles to show that as well. Everyone is good? Yes. No. I don't think I make you draw any of them. I think there's one multiple choice that has drawing in it. But you don't have to do any drawing. Okay? I think there might be one on there. I don't remember. It's the big rectangle minus the little rectangle, Jacqueline. Length times width minus length times width. But you don't have to draw it. I give you the drawing. You just take the numbers from the drawing. Yes, like Nathan says, if I gave you this, that is 8, that is 4, that is 1, that is 2. And I want this out here. Well, it's the big rectangle, which is 8 times 4, minus the little rectangle, which is 1 times 2. Right? Except now you've got letters in there. But you already know how to do that. You already know how to do x plus 7 times 2x minus 1. Right? That's just your new length times width. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't remember when class ends today. In 20 minutes, I believe. 15 minutes. So, what you want to do is practice on page 139. That has some of everything except these substitutey ones, okay? But they've been recorded, all right? So what I'm going to do now, while you're working and talking with each other, I am going to finish this video with these questions all done. And then you can check it tonight before your test tomorrow. Okay? if you wish to check tonight. If you don't, no problem. If you're feeling comfortable with where you are, be comfortable. Cool? Okay. You go, start on this. I'll even leave it up while I'm working. Okay? But you'll notice my pen is starting to do its crappy skip thing, right? So, we'll see. Yo. Yep. Yo.
Can you kind of guide me through this, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Which part? I can't remember what the last thing you saw was.
Kind of like from the beginning. So like.
Can you do these ones? X squared plus 6x plus 8. Okay. And it looks like this.
Yeah.
Nothing out in front. You need numbers that multiply to this. So multiply to 8 and add to this, which is 6. So 1 and 8, 1 times 8 is 8, but they don't add to 6.
Yeah.
2 times 4 is 8. They do add to 6.
Yeah.
So the answer becomes x plus 2 and x plus 4. Okay?
Yeah.
So I want you to do one now. You do x squared plus 5x plus 6.
So
No. You multiply to the last one.
so 6
So it's 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. Which one of those will make 5?
which will make 5?
Yeah, when you add them, which makes 5? 1 plus
this
6,
one makes
2 and 3. So the answer is x plus 2, x plus 3. That's it. Always. You multiply to the last one, you add to the middle one.
Multiply last one.
Add to the middle one. Always. If there's 3 of them there. Okay? That's it.
Thank
Now,
you.
well, this one is slightly different. If you can get rid of that 5 by dividing by 5, you should, but we can't. 7 and 5 and 2 and 5 don't work, right? So I can't do that. So if you get a spot where you're stuck with this guy out in front, when there was no x in front, it was just times 6, right?
Yeah.
But this is 5 times bigger, yeah? So this needs to be 5 times bigger. So now I need to multiply to 10, but add to 7. Is it 1 and 10?
No.
Is it 2 and 5?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's x plus 2 and x plus 5, right? But the only reason I knew 2 and 5 was because I multiplied by 5 here, right? So at the end, I got to remember to divide by 5.
Yeah.
5, 2 divided by 5, that's a fraction. It doesn't get any simpler. Once it is as simple as you can get it, you move the denominator to the front. 5x plus 2. 5 over 5 gets simpler, doesn't it? 5 divided by 5 is 1.
Yeah.
So it's x plus 1. Okay?
Yeah.
Now let's look at this one. 2, I can't get 2 out of there because 7 doesn't divide by 2. So I bring it over here times 2. So now I have to multiply to what?
12.
12 and add to what?
7.
7. Is it 1 and 12?
No.
Is it 2 and 6?
Yeah.
2 plus 6 is 7.
No.
Is it 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's going to be x plus 3, but not really plus 3 because I got to divide out that 2.
Yeah.
And x plus 4, but not really plus 4 because I got to
Divided by
divide out
2.
that 2. Does that fraction get any simpler? So the 2 goes to the front.
So
2x plus 3.
Yeah.
Does that fraction get any simpler?
Yeah. X plus 2.
X plus 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. And you can check it. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. I did it right. Okay? What do I got to multiply to now?
You gotta times it by 6.
Right? So I got to multiply to what?
14.
No, 3 times 6 is negative 18,
Negative
right?
18.
And I got to add to what?
17.
17. Is it 1 and 18?
Nope. Because it's negative.
Yeah, so it has to be 18 minus 1, right?
Yeah.
To get 17. So it's x minus 1, but it's not really minus 1.
It's because you gotta divide it.
By
Divide it by 6.
6. And x plus 18, because that's positive, but it's not really 18 because I got to...
Divided by 6.
Does that get any simpler? So where does the 6 go?
6 goes over
To
here.
the
so
front?
6x.
Minus 1.
Yep.
Does that get any simpler?
It comes to be x
Plus 3.
Yeah.
And now you're done. That's factored, Tajir. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morris.
No problem at all. Yo. Number 8. All the way down to here. Sure. What's your first thing going to be, Jacqueline? You don't like that too, right? I understand that. But let's pretend that that's not... Oh. That's not there, and that's not there. Can you do that? Okay, what would I multiply to? Well, no, let's do it. Let's do it together. Multiply to 2? No, because I got the 2 there. Remember, I got to bring the 2 over, like I did up here. So I got to multiply to 4 and add to 5, right? What are they? It's 1 and 4, right? So I'm going to have x plus 1, but not really plus 1, because I had a 2 at the beginning. So I divide by 2, and then x plus what? 4, but not really 4, because I got to divide by 2. Now simplify. 1/2 gets no simpler, does it? Right, 2x plus 1. Plus 2, right? Now, let's go back to the original question. I just need a y at the end, don't I? So, look, I just put a y there and a y there. 1y times 2y is 2y squared. It's exactly the same. You just put the y in. Okay?
Oh, I saw the same question for her.
Yo.
So for this one, I'm trying to get times to the negative
Yep.
18, add to 17. But if I do negative 18 plus 1, it equals negative 17.
Right, so do positive 18 minus 1.
Oh.
It's tricky that way. Which part, Helia?
Like the number 8 one, I don't understand why it's
Can you do number 2?
yeah.
Okay, well, the only difference is at the end of it all, you need a y. Because you have to have something to multiply to y squared. Just like to get x squared, it's got to be x and x to make an x squared. So to make a y squared, you need a y and a y.
Yeah,
Other
but-
than that, it's the same.
But I don't understand the division.
Okay, do you understand? Can you factor that?
Yeah.
What do I need to multiply to? And add to what? So it is 3 and 4, yes? Okay. In this case, what's the number that should be there? No, there.
Oh, 1.
That would be a 1. So this is 2 times bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it was a 1, I needed 12. But now I need something 2 times bigger than that.
Yeah.
So I have to multiply this by 2.
Yeah.
So now I need to multiply to 12 and add to 7. Because the 7 didn't change. Only the x changed, right? Okay, what are the numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 7? We already know what they are. They are 3 and 4. So now, if there was no 2 there, it would be x plus 3 and x plus 4, correct? But the only reason we knew it was 3 and 4 was because we multiplied by 2. So we can't leave that 2 there. We have to divide it out because we're factoring. And factoring means to divide, right? So now this is x plus 3 over 2. It doesn't get any simpler. So I take that 2 and I put it to the front.
Doesn't make sense though. Why would you?
Just, I'll show you in a sec if that's what's bothering you. And this is 4 divided by 2, so it's x plus 2. And now I'm done. Okay? Now, you say this is what bothers you, why this works. All right, allow me to show you. It was 2x squared plus 7x plus 6, was it? Okay. Observe. You don't like this 2 here, right? That bothers you, yeah? So, I'm going to divide everything by 2. Then I'm going to get x squared plus 7 over 2x, right? 7 divided by 2, plus 3. You with me? Okay. So now, I need numbers that multiply to 3 and add to 7 over 2, right? Which is 3.5, yeah? 7 over 2. So I need 2 numbers that will multiply to 3 that will add to 7 over 2. All right? So I would need more fractions, wouldn't I? Okay? Now, the fractions that I would need, give me one sec here. The fractions that I would need are 1.5 and 2. 1.5 times 2 is 3, isn't it? And 1.5 plus 2 is 7.5, 3.5, right? Agreed? 1.5 is 3 over 2, and 2 is 2 over 1, yes? So I get x plus 3 over 2 and x plus 1 over 2, right? You with me? It's the same as 3 and 4 when it works out perfectly, but we needed fractions here. You cool? Okay, now, how would I get rid of this 2 that I don't like? Because we hate fractions. I'd multiply by 2, wouldn't I? So what's 2 times x? 2x. Plus, what happens to these two 2's? Cancel, and I get 3, right? Multiply this by 2. What do I get? 2x, and what happens here?
2. No, it cancels.
Cancels, so I get
2x plus 1.
2x plus 1, yeah? Oh, wait, sorry. This should have been... Sorry, my mistake. Sorry. This is 2 over 1, right?
Yeah.
Not, I have it right there. It's 2 over 1, and I wrote 1/2. Yeah. It's 2 over 1, yeah? So how do I get rid of that 1? I would multiply by 1, right?
Yeah.
What's 1 times x?
X.
And then what happens to those 2 1s? They cancel, right? And I get 2x plus 3 and x plus 2.
Well, like, 1 doesn't
Now,
count though.
here was the same answer. All I did was got rid of that 2 by multiplying by 2. I just showed you a shortcut because once it's done, you got to do this much math to prove it. I just gave you the shortcut. You slide it to the front. Okay?
To put the, like when you have the over a fraction, right?
Uh-huh.
You keep it inside the brackets, not outside.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm good. Never mind.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish doing this key, and you can check it tonight. Have a good weekend. I will see you on Monday when I am a whole year older.
How old?
44. Well, no, right now I'm 43 and 363 365ths old.
Oh, wow.
14 and 12.